everyone, Tech85 here, and today I'm going to be beginning a new playthrough. A playthrough of a game that I'm pleasantly surprised that I'm able to do so soon. And it's been out for a while, but I'm actually finally getting a chance to play it now. And that is the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy. And I am going to be starting the first game out of this particular trilogy. Well, obviously, considering I've just got this. And, but yeah, we're going to be trying out the first game, and we will be playing as a new protagonist. At least in the first game of the trilogy. The second and third parts, well, I'll leave that as a surprise for you guys. But before I begin things here, hope you guys have an awesome day today. Hope you guys doing well. So without further ado, let's begin Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Yeah, I was not... Whenever they announced this a while back, it was sometime last year, like September, October of last year, I was absolutely ecstatic because I loved playing the original Ace Attorney trilogy with Phoenix Wright. And I just know that I'm going to have just as much fun playing this game. But as you can see here, the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy. Let's look at the options here real quick. Gameplay, text skip off, transparent. Let's look at... I actually want transparency high on this. Just to link the time of the next line of autoplay and story mode. Oops. And that's pretty much it. But we are going to go ahead and select the game. Oh, this is so cool. But yeah, there's Apollo Justice, which is the first game. Ace Attorney Dual Destinies is the second game. And then Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice is the third game. And you can actually pick what episode you want to do on here. Oh, this is even better than the Phoenix Wright one. But yeah, as you can see here, there are only 4 episodes in the first game. We are going to be doing the first and second episodes here in the month of March. Episode 3 will be in the month of June, and then episode 4 will be in the month of September. But I'm not going to... I am so excited about this. I am going to go ahead and start episode 1. Oh, you can even skip... Okay, there's a little bit of spoilery right here, but we are going to go ahead and we're going to do day 1 of the trial. Start playing from this chapter, absolutely. Dang! Episode 1, Turnabout Trump. Showdown time. You lose. Ah! Eek! I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Sure to come to that. Well, that was a poker game gone awry, I'll tell you that. April 20th, 9:37 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Panicked, palms sweaty. I can admit it. I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. But wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise, is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial and it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your screech. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. Go. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. No, not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. We're gonna find out who it is. And it should be familiar to everybody. Whoa! Good morning. Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial, nervous. Meeting him, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? So, you're... Fine, I'm fine. Ah, Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney, and he's your friend, so why... You'll see. You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time, shall we? Yes, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Phoenix Wright. Okay, I need to focus. First trial, here comes justice. April 20th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 2. The court is now in session. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is, fine. Ready, Your Honor. Mine going blank. Don't panic. Ugh, too late. Your name was Mr. Justice? And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor? I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always see to his client's wishes. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust his case to this greenhorn? Why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience, fine. But does he have cords of steel? Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further, then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne. To think, I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I see you leaving chains. Ah, Winston Payne. Settle as ever, I see. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, wham, on the head. Smack. Killed him cold. Customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was? The pianist for the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright, a pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life. A bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. Deadly bottle added to the court record. Grape juice bottle used as the murder weapon. Bears the defendant Mr. Wright's prints. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record? Right, I've heard of that. Use R to look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right, just use R. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. So, the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shady Smith fellow? We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor. A traveler? According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. And he had some sort of connection with the defendant? That, too, is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Bush Bull Club on the night of the crime. If they had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing? That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime. Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself. Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal. Objection! It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game, in a purest sense, a competition, Your Honor. A competition? Yes, a test of wits, a silent class of passions. Only the cards, the backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again? The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women. That will be our first order of business here, then, to find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. Let's go ahead and save. Okay, I gotta get used to this. My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. Witness testimony. The competition. I am a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game, and our customers are happy. A pianist who can't play piano? Better than a defense attorney who can't defend. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. We're going to go ahead and save again. Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it. Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times, though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher course in cross-examination? If we were new to this series, I would say refresher course, but since we're pretty much considered a veterans, especially after playing the entire first trilogy, I'm gonna say no thanks. No need for help here, sir. I think I've got this one covered. I think you'd better do more than think. You know it or you do not. I'm fine. The cords are still ready for battle. My weapons, press and present. Find any inconsistencies, any lies to the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Inconsistencies? Lies? Phoenix Wright? As if. Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. The defense might begin a cross-examination. Cross-examination. He's a pianist by trade. He can hardly play at all. His real job is taking his customer over to poker table. They pay you to just play poker? That would seem to be the case. I am professional after all. But do I protect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine. Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston. What? I've played poker for 7 years in that little room, and I've never lost once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? The room where he played the competition there, club's main attractions. The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction? It has quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bull Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. But the black market? All in the past, things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room. A smoky room, gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gather around the table cutting deals, safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through a small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. The room had a few tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. Rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor. Precisely, cards on the table, cards upon the floor, each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we used 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, the other blue. As I recall, in poker you make 5 card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, a game of hands. This competition you're talking about, I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right. It was a simple game after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment that the crime occurred. You claim no connection to the crime. Now that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right, there's something I'd like to make made clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand, and I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well, defendant will amend his testimony. Just one little press. And I've got myself a whole new testimony. I pledge silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Let me go ahead and save. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go ahead.
Objection!
So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon. This grape juice bottle, right? So I said. Something the matter, Mr. Justice? Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb. What's this, Mr. Payne? I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints. Objection! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears and her case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove it. Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints. Huh? But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down. Upside down? What does that mean? It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can be only one reason for that. Yes. To brain someone with the bottle. Ah! Wow, that face. Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worse. Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything. You'll see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Hey there, Quackadoodle. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case. I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Objection!
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reported? Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Ray. But still, that... Really? Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone. Near the scene? Let's take a look at a diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant. I see, and this is the phone that made the call? Wright's cell phone added a court record, used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant's first floor. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose, yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he is being uncooperative? Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being. To toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about... What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment the crime occurred? How can you possibly know this? That's a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness. You're as good as they say you are. So someone else was in the room the night of the crime. That must mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up till now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. Oh, hello there. The witness will state her name and profession. Well, hold on just a moment. Where's the witness? I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns. So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off. You are sure? I swear it on my gavel. Please, come out. Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor? Well, if you're sure it's okay. No, the prosecution... Wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia? Yes. She is a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade. And that will be?
My name is Olga Worley. I am employed as a waitress at Borscht Bull Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht that is naming restaurant, but I also perform, how is it said, other service.
I take it one of these other services is taking the customer's pictures?
Ta-da! Like, for example, this one.
That's the defendant? Indeed, on the night of the murder.
Man in white hat is one who has gone kaput.
Indeed, that is the victim. Order! Order! This is quite a piece of evidence casually dropped into our laps.
It is the same way as I drop cold bowls of borscht on laps of customers, casually.
Then the court will casually accept this new evidence. Olga's photo added to the court record, the defendant and Mr. Smith at the Borscht Bull Club. Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder?
I was in room, the hideout, we call it.
Excuse me? The hideout?
It is room where famous gangster bad guy was arrested. It is room where murder took place.
What?
You look of utter surprise. It is lovely. I will post my courtroom door later for you. Da-da! Photos will be numbered and you will rate which ones you want copy of.
So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Worley are a witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means... Very well, witness. You will testify in court about the night's events. Witness testimony. That fateful night.
That night, customer asked me to deal cards for a game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on locket at his neck. Then last hand is done, but something terrible has happened. That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death.
Incidentally, who won the game? Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
Objection!
That's ridiculous. Because Mr. Wright can't lose. Justice? Maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection. But he hadn't lost in 7 years. Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case my first 7 years as prosecutor either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here. These are the poker chips that, as they laid at the very moment of the crime. The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith. Chips, you say? I mean, yes. Imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils. I know that. After all, in my youth, I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3. I think he means poker face. Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table. Chip's photo added to the court record. Defendant and victim's chips where a crime took place. Very well, the defense may cross-examine a witness. Okay, that fateful night. That night, customer asked me to deal cards for a game. It was cold, both players played with the hats on. Victim plays the whole time with his hands on lock of the neck, then last hand is done. Something terrible. Okay, let me see something for a second. Okay, let's look at the autopsy report. Victim name, Shady Smith. Estimated time of death, April 17. Cause of death, cerebral hemorrhaging resulting from blunt trauma to forehead, which goes against what we heard to begin with. So we are going to go ahead and present this.
Objection!
Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd.
Duh, normal customers only choke on borscht.
No, I mean this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head.
Ah!
Miss Orley, really now, did you witness the crime? Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything. Yet it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Ooh. Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation. Wow, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. Crime photo 2 added to the court record. Photo of forehead. Hat removed during investigation.
But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck.
Oh, really, Miss Worley? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice. I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. But what do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too. Okay, then a customer asked me to deal cards per game. It was cool with both players with hats on there. The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on locket on his hand. Okay.
Objection!
You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on locket at his neck, I believe she said. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean? If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Ah. The defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say. Yes? I just noticed this, but... You have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh? You mean this? Yes, it's a locket, with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. So Mr. Wright has a locket too? Why don't I buy that it's just a coincidence? Well, no, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost. Badly. Mr. Worley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant. And I think that is where we're going to end things here, and we'll continue on to day 1 of the trial here in the case against Phoenix Wright in the next episode. Hope you guys are looking forward to that. But thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope you guys are enjoying this series so far. I'll be seeing you guys again next time.